Good morning. Today we are going to start the nuclear physics portion of your BSc syllabus. The first topic in your BSc syllabus is in nuclear physics is the general properties of nuclei. Basically, in this chapter we discuss about the basic property of nucleus, and so first question must become in your mind that what is nucleus. The concept of the nucleus first experimentally detected or experimentally verified by Rutherford alpha ray scattering experiment. Alpha ray scattering experiment by Rutherford. Okay. So first thing, what is nucleus? Actually, a nucleus is a bound quantum system like atom itself. Okay, since it's a bound quantum system, so it may exist in different quantum state, and those quantum state are identified by different physical property like energy, angular momentum, linear momentum, etc. Okay, and this that will vary from state to state. So since it's a quantum system, it may also exist in different quantum states. Okay, and those quantum states are identified or characterized by energy, angular momentum, etc. Okay, etc. Now basically nucleus exists in a ground state, and the properties of nucleus corresponding to that ground state is called the static property. So basically nucleus exists in ground state, and the properties corresponding to that ground state are called static property. Okay, static property. And in this chapter we actually discuss about the static property of nucleus like mass, charge, binding energy, parity, isospin, spin. Okay, and there are also the dynamical property of nucleus, and those property are shown in basically in nuclear excitation, nuclear decay, and in nuclear reaction. And there are also another property that is called the dynamical property, and those property are exhibit in nuclear decays, nuclear reaction, and also nuclear excitation. Clear? Now basically nucleus consists of two elementary particle. Nucleus consists of two elementary particles. One is proton and another one is neutron. Proton is nothing the atom of hydrogen and which having one positive electron charge, and and the number of proton in nucleus is denoted by Z value. And neutron also an elementary particle, and it's a neutral particle actually, and the number of neutron inside the nucleus is denoted by N. The total and this proton and neutron collectively called nucleon. Actually they are called nucleons. Clear? And the total number of proton plus number of neutron gives a value, and this a is called the mass number. That means the total number of nucleon, that is total number of proton plus total number of neutrons inside the nucleus, that means the total number of nucleons gives the mass number. Next, nuclei. There are different type of nuclei exist in nature. Some nuclei with same Z value, that means same number of proton, but with different mass number, and those nuclei are called isotopes. The example of isotope is hydrogen is a normal hydrogen, that means protium, that means deuterium, both having the same Z value, but the mass number will be different. And the nucleus actually, if we have a X nucleus whose number of proton is Z, and mass number is A, and it is denoted by this AXZ. Okay, that means in this case the hydrogen, it's a normal hydrogen, that's called protium, and it's a deuterium, both having the same number of Z value but the different number of different mass number. That's why this pair are called the isotope. Again, the nuclei with same A but different Z, they are called isobars. That means example is 16 oxygen 8 or 16N7. Though both have the same mass number but the different Z values. Okay, and next one is nuclei with same number of neutron. Clear? And they are called the isotones, and this is the sodium 2311 and magnesium 2412. Both sodium and magnesium having the same number of neutron. That is the number of neutron in both cases 12 actually. That's why this pair are called the isotones. Now the second topic is the nuclear mass and binding energy. Clear? So actually the mass of the nucleus are not actually experimentally measured in our lab. We actually measure the mass of the atom, and the mass of the atom in lab actually is measured with the help of mass spectrometer. There one mass spectrometer is called Aston's mass spectrometer, and this is very famous. With the help of this mass spectrometer we actually measure the mass of the atom. Now how we calculate the mass of the nucleus and which is inside the atom? That's why we there's a nuclear mass will be, this is denoted by M nuclei, and this is if we consider maz, that is the mass of the atom. Okay, actually in case in a atom, inside a atom there is a nucleus, and according to the Bohr model, and surrounding this nucleus there are several orbital electron which are revolving around this nucleus actually. And if we consider if we say there is a z number of proton inside the atom, that means z number of electron also present, z number of orbital electron are also present in the atom. That's why we take a simple mathematics that we find the mass of the nucleus just by subtracting the total number of orbital electron, total mass of the orbital electron from the mass of the atom. Okay, that means if we have a z number of proton, that means we have a z number of electron inside the inside the atom, and that's why the total number of total mass of the orbital electron will be z into me. Okay, zme is the mass of the total mass of the orbital electron which have to be suppressed, or which have to be omit from the mass of the total number of total mass of total atomic mass. And this atomic mass actually spectroscopically calculate. That means by subtracting the mass of the orbital electron from the mass of atomic mass, we can find the value of the nuclear mass. But this expression is not, this expression 1, and which expression is not exact, since here we does not take into account the binding energy of the orbital electron. Okay, again, now if we want to break away a nucleon, that means proton or neutron, from the nucleus, we need few MeV range energy. Okay, for what? For break away a nucleon, okay, from nucleus. But we need only few electron volt energy just to detach an orbital electron from the atom. That means the nucleons inside the nucleus is more strongly bound than the orbital electron inside the atom. Therefore, the nucleons are more strongly bound than orbital electron, and we can decide, or we can conclude this from the range of energy. This is 1 electron or 2 electron volt we need, but here is a few MeV, means mega electron volt, that is 10 to the power 6 electron volt. Okay, now the second and important topic of this class is the binding energy. So the question is, what is binding energy? What is binding energy? Now say we have a nucleus of Z proton and N neutron, and we just break up this nucleus, okay, and just break up this nucleus and try to separate this Z proton and N neutron. That means when we try to do this, but when we try to break this nucleus, we have to supply a minimum amount of energy from outside, okay, to that nucleus, and this energy is called the binding energy of the nucleus. that means to break up a nucleus of Z protons and N neutrons completely into separate particles, a minimum amount of energy have to be supplied outside the nucleus. This energy is called the binding energy, and which is denoted by E suffix capital B, EB. Okay, that is the thing. Fine.